What's up everyone, Gormy here. Today I am bringing you guys a tips and tricks video here for FM21 with all the little things that I have learned in recent months. I decided, you know what, it's about time that I bring it to you guys. I'm going to be doing plenty of these videos throughout the next few months, so if I start figuring out more and more, I will definitely bring it to you guys. But before we do get into today's video, if you guys do happen to enjoy, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Also, I'll be linking my Twitch down below if you guys like to check me out over there. I stream almost every day during the week besides weekends over at twitch.tv/ygormy. We were doing a save with Dynamo Moscow, but we have since changed it into a journeyman, and we are now over at Atalanta. It's a lot of fun. But also, if you guys would like to join the Discord, I'll be linking the Discord down below as well, along with my socials with Twitter and Instagram. I'm much more active on Twitter, so definitely give the Twitter a follow. But without further ado, let's get into things. Alright, so we are going to be doing this with Barnsley. Now, the reason why I picked Barnsley is that they kind of fit everything that I want to be able to hit on. So, first thing is money. Tip wise, you definitely need money to survive. No matter what level you are at, if you were the elite or at the very bottom in tier 9 in England, you need money to survive. Now, you guys see that their budget is at 772,000 and that they have 334,000 in the wage available. So that transfer budget for a team like Barnsley probably should not touch it. You probably should not touch it. Now, if there is a player that you cannot live without, obviously go ahead, go for it. But you should invest that into the club, either facility-wise, staff-wise, scout-wise, anything. Invest it into that first. Use your wage budget to sign some players on the cheap that are on end of contract expiry. Which, this leads me to tip number 2, contract expiry. You want to come in to your players, you want to go over here to new search, click on that, you go over to contract status, you go to expired, boom. Nothing but players you have to offer a contract to. Currently, day 1, these are all the players. Now, you can also look up, all right, who's going to expire a year from now at the end of the season? Boom. You bigger clubs, this works for you as well. Bring in big time players that do not sign their contracts. It would be huge if a team, say like Man United, brought in David Alaba, but he's not going to Man United. I'm just using that as an example. But end of contract expiry is very important, especially for the lower levels. So you Vanarama National, North, South, Normal National, Football League 2, Football League 1. It works for everybody. Teams that don't have the most transfer budget, such as Barnsley in the Championship, definitely utilize this. You can find some very good players in it. Next up is trials. It is tip number 3. You want to use trials as much as possible. It's more so a trick than a tip. Obviously, tip, use the trials, but trick, they are free scouting reports. You bring them in for 2 weeks, you get a free scouting report. You don't spend any scouting budget, anything. They're here training. You get to see what the players are all about. It is a free scouting report. Use it and abuse it. Trials are your best friend, especially when you are in the lower leagues. You can trial at least 30 players, and maybe there's only 3 that will be viable to you. But, I mean, you're not having to spend a penny to scout them because they are just there training with your guys every day, and you get to see what that player is all about. All right, so next up, tip number 4 is friendlies. You can make some good money off of these, especially if you are a Vanarama National North, South type club. You can make some good money off of these. Now, if you are those types of clubs, you are probably only going to be able to play U23 clubs of some of these teams. But if you are playing the likes of Man United, Chelsea, Man City, Tottenham, their U23s, you're still going to bring in a decent amount of money. Now, a team like Barnsley can play the actual starting 11 of Aston Villa, Brighton, Leeds, bring in some big money that way. But you definitely want to be able to schedule your friendlies against these big time clubs so that you can bring in as much money as possible. It's not just limited to England. You can be in Italy, you can be in the Serie C and be like, hey, Atalanta, you want to send your U20s or U18s to play us? Sure, we'll do that. And then you make like 20 grand off of it. You can make a very decent amount of money. I believe against Aston Villa, I think I'm having Barnsley make about 90 grand off of that. So, I mean, for any club that is having financial issues, use friendlies as a weapon. Use it as a financial weapon to make sure that you get out of whatever financial trouble you are in. And you can do it by setting up friendlies because of the gate receipts, because of everything that you get from it. I mean, currently they have had a $55,000 loss, but once we get those games in, that could be a $150,000 gain. So it is huge to be able to do friendlies like this against bigger clubs. No matter if you are playing the top club, the U23, U18s, whatever it may be, you definitely want to use friendlies. All right, next up, we are going to scouting and scouting assignments. You're going to take over the scouting responsibility. The way you do that, you go up here, scouting responsibility. It'll usually be on your chief scout or whoever, and then you delegate to yourself. So we are going to go down to our scout here, Chris England, and we're going to edit his assignment. Now, for teams that are looking to bring in good youth players and you are restricted to your country, set it to hot prospect and set it to whatever tactic you are working with, because then it brings in players that fit that tactic perfectly and are hot young prospects. Now, what is even more important than that scout wise, if you are a club in a smaller country that is trying to land wonder kids from around the world, and you don't have to worry about the work permits and anything, you don't have to worry about much, this is what you're going to do. You are not going to scout England. You're not going to scout France, Spain, Germany, Italy, Brazil, and somewhat Portugal sometimes. You are going to try and avoid those unless there are young, cheap wonder kids that you can get there. You are going to scout through. You're going to click up here. You're going to go to nation or region. Region wise, it kind of works better in my opinion than nation, but if you're looking for players from specific nations, definitely do that. But region wise, you're going to want to send your scouts to Eastern Europe, Scandinavia, West Africa, South America, Latin America. They are hotbeds for cheap wonder kids. Now, you're probably thinking, well, you said no Brazil. Why are you saying South America? You're going to send them to Peru, Uruguay, Colombia, Mexico, and Latin America. Argentina still has some pretty expensive wonder kids. You can find the cheap one here and there. But in Peru, they're very good wonder kids. One by the name of Uriel Celli. Make sure to write that down or just remember it. Kid is absolutely insane. There is a kid by the name of Matias Arezzo that you can get for like 2.8 million from Uruguay and bring him over and he becomes a world beater. There are gods in Colombia that you can find. A man by the name of Zealand that does FM21 here on YouTube and on Twitch is a beast at finding Colombian wonder kids. He has a scout that specifically goes to Colombia, so I highly recommend have a scout go to Colombia. You can find the next Radamel Falcao, the next Jaime Rodriguez, the next Juan Cuadrado. They are everywhere in that country, so definitely make sure that you at some point are sending your scout to Colombia. And in Mexico, same thing, you can find the next Irving Lozano there as well. Now, In Eastern Europe, you're going to want to make sure that they are mainly hitting on Croatia, Czech Republic, Serbia, Slovakia, Belarus, Ukraine, Russia. You're going to find plenty of stellar talents from those areas. And then with West Africa, the entire area of West Africa has insane talents, but none more so than Nigeria. Nigeria has insane wonder kids that you can get for very cheap. Now, you will probably want to load regions and countries such as Nigeria and whatnot, but you will want to load the entire continent, do top clubs and top teams, top continental competitions and whatnot for there. Same with the Middle East. You can find some very good Middle Eastern players as well. But that is tip number 4 or 5, I believe. So on to the next one. All right. So some people tend to struggle with getting their team to work pretty well together. It's not always the tactic. It's not always a formation either. It can be team cohesion. Well, how do you fix that? It is pretty simple. You go to training, you go to schedules, which we currently don't have one set up, so that's awesome. But you go into here, and then you want to make sure you have some team bonding in there, because team bonding just lets the boys be boys. It lets them gel, lets them get to know each other, lets them work on everything. And through time, team cohesion is going to get better. Sometimes it is automatically there in your training. So, like, your club and assistant coaches and everyone know that, okay, we are struggling with team cohesion. Let's get this working. So they'll put it in there for you. But if they don't, just plug it in yourself. It's very, very easy. Next up, we are here at the tactic and formation page. Now, there's a couple things I'm going to be going over here. So, tip number, I think this is 6 now. You want to use a shadow striker and you want to use a Mazzala on attack. Now, you don't have to use both, but you definitely want to make sure that you have one of them in your team, because they will change the way everything works in a very, very, very good way. I did not realize how good a shadow striker was until I tried it out, because I was dead set on attacking midfielder and advanced playmaker. Then I tried shadow striker with my Dynamo Moscow team, and it changed everything. I really use nothing but a shadow striker at that spot now. I have tried advanced playmaker. It's solid, but I don't feel the same oomph that I do when they are there as a shadow striker. Now, with Mazzala on attack, I was not expecting to be as good as it was. I started using it about a week and a half ago. Beforehand, I was using deep line playmaker. I was like, okay, this is solid. But I was like, you know what? Let's try Mazzala on support. I tried Mazzala on support. It was pretty good. I was like, all right, I need them to be a little bit more attacking. I can see that can go on attack. Let's see what it does on attack. The Mazzala on attack dictates the midfield and somewhat the attacking play as well, because your shadow striker is going to be in this area a lot. But your Mazzala on attack, the support man usually comes from here to here and then stops about here. So he stays outside the box. He's there to support. When your Mazzala is on attack, he goes from here to here to here to up here, which will make Daryl Dike go over here, and you basically will then have 3 strikers somewhat. So your Mazzala on attack can sometimes act as another striker if they have the confidence to do so. Because when your inverted wingers, for me, come in, and you have Mazzala attack go up, it's all-out chaos. So Mazzala on attack helps create chaos, and they are very, very good for you. No matter what formation you're using, if you've got a 5 in the back, 3 in the back, 4 in the back, whatever you're doing, Mazzala on attack is going to be a game changer for you, as well as a shadow striker as well. Now, tip number 7. Why I was kind of breaking down this formation is because I am highly confident with it and comfortable with it. When you are using a tactic / formation, you want to make sure that you're confident and comfortable with it, because if you aren't, You can overmanage a game. You do not want to overmanage a game. You want to be able to be confident and comfortable with it. Now, when I say you can overmanage a game, you could be going into a game, say, against Wickham, who just got promoted. And this is no shot against them or anything. It's just like a team like Barnsley, who is solidified, should be beating them. But if I were to go in and be like, okay, I'm not confident with this, I'm not comfortable with this, I feel like we're kind of exposed in these certain areas and that this player may not be able to do his job well enough, I feel like we could lose. You don't want to go into a match feeling like that at all. You want to be able to go into that match and say, okay, I am confident that we can get a result here, and I'm comfortable with this formation being the one that will help me be able to do it. And with that, being confident and comfortable with it, it allows you to create your own style, your own brand of football. That is why I call this Gourmet Ball. We do nothing but Gourmet Ball over on Twitch. Gourmet Ball is elite. It is very specific way of playing. We have two different versions of it, but I prefer this one over the other one. Now, if you are named Jeff, you're going to have Jeff Ball. If you're named Bill, you're going to have Billy Ball. Whatever. You are going to have your own brand, your own style that you are confident and comfortable with, and you want to make sure that is what you are using more than anything else. Because if you go in and you're like, okay, I think that this 5 in the back formation will work, but we've never used it before, but I do think it'll work, but maybe not really, you're going to be psyching yourself out of everything. You want to be confident and comfortable with what you are using. Next up, I believe this is tip 8. We have got corners. This is more of a trick than a tip, but it is both for sure, but more of a trick than a tip. So what you are going to want for your corners is a near post and lurk near post setup. You want to have your two best aerial presence players on near post and lurk near post. You want them to be good with bravery, heading, and aerial reach, I think it is, or jumping reach. Aerial reach is the goalkeeper. But yeah, you want them to be good with jumping reach, heading, and bravery. Now, when you're in the top leagues, such as the Prem, Liga, Bundesliga, Serie A, whatnot, you want the bravery and heading attributes minimum to be about 14. When you are in the league below, it is okay for it to be 12. And then below that, obviously, 10 is kind of the bare minimum for it. But jumping reach-wise, you want that to be the highest stat possible. The lowest, I would say, would be 14. But if you have players that have good heading, good bravery, good jumping reach, make sure that they are on near post, lurk near post, because that ball is going to get swung in. This player will either head the ball into the back of the net. Same thing with this guy right here, but they can also become exposed because they'll be distracted by this guy here on lurk near post, which leaves this guy wide open. There will be nobody here. Same thing can happen with the near post guy, and the lurk near post guy becomes wide open and nobody will be on him. But that is a quick little trick that I actually made a video on, so I'll link that somewhere here on the screen, as well as probably in the description, but most likely on the screen for you guys to check out if you guys would like to do so. But on to the next tip. All right, so last thing I'm going to leave you guys with, tip and trick number 10, counts as both. Like I said, going to be doing more of these in the future, so don't worry about it. That's only 10. You guys are going to look up, did not mean to hit the mic whatsoever. You guys are going to look up Yusufu Makuku. You're probably saying, okay, either who is this guy, or why are we looking up the best wonder kid in the game when he costs an arm and a leg? If you were at a club that is in the top tier in your country, and it's a pretty well-known country such as England, Germany, yada, 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 or you are in the championship, you can probably land this kid. But you're, once again, probably saying, okay, I'm not going to pay the 20 to 170 million for this kid. You don't have to. His contract expires in 2022. Dortmund do not always re-sign him. They don't always extend his contract. So you're going to want to keep your eye on Yusufu Makuku for the first 2 years, see if he has his contract expire, and if he does, snatch that kid up immediately, because you will have a kid with the highest potential ability in the game. I believe the lowest potential ability for him is 170, maybe 160, but the highest is 200, which is the highest in the game. So definitely try and get your hands on Yusufu Makuku within your first 2 years of your save for a free. Like I said, you're going to have to be in the higher leagues, or at least in the championship in England, to be able to draw this kid's interest, because I mean, I was over in Russia and he didn't want to go to Russia, so it was kind of difficult. He actually ended up going to Portugal. So if you're in the top 6 leagues and above, you definitely got a shot. If you're any of those many teams in those top 6 leagues, you definitely got a shot. And if you're in the championship, you probably have a shot if you are a team that just got relegated, or are a team that have hopes of being promoted. But that is going to be it for today's episode. If you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I realize I said episode. These are not episodes. These are videos. Good job, Gormy. Big brain right there. But yeah, like I said, if you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.